Yes, people, welcome back to AFTV and welcome back to another AFTV Live. You're joined with me and Turkish. Turkish, how are you? Well?
Oh, good, man.
It's good to see you. It's nice. We spoke about it many times when you left the stadium, how happy you were. It's nice to see that. And then when I watched your Big Six show yesterday, oh my days.
Yes.
Bro, seeing you just sit there at the top of the screen and just be able to just let everyone have a little bickers, and then if they try to chat to you, you can't chat to us right now. You know that thing, bro? It's like back in school days when I was young.
I watched it back, and I just thought to myself, this is how Big Steve used to feel over the last year and a half on the show. Yeah. All of us, man, are arguing amongst ourselves. And Steve and somewhat Grizz, they tend to kind of,
just drop in with a little something.
The big dogs, as they say. Now we're looking like big dogs. So long may that continue.
Long may it continue. And everyone watching and listening, I hope you guys had a great weekend and a great day yesterday, enjoying Arsenal's win against Tottenham Hotspur. I'm sure you're at your workplace or your friends, schools, whatever, just enjoying where we are right now. And I just want to quickly, before we get into the main topics today, I do want to discuss just some unseen stuff that, listen, being at the game, you do get to witness some things that you don't get to see on TV. So there's some things I just picked up on. Firstly, actually, I'm gonna put this out there. Who do you think, you may have seen it, but who do you think engages the crowd the most? Of recent, actually, it was in the North London derby as well, but a player that goes to the fans and tries to cheer them up before you say a name. I want people in the comments, people getting involved, you're watching or listening, just let me know in the comments who you think is that player. I'd like to hear who you think it is as well. There was one player that, I don't know, maybe this might give it away, maybe it's my side, but recently, I always see him come over to the fans and like, come on, like, it's been said already in the chat, bloody hell. Oh, maybe it's not, maybe it was obvious then. Maybe it was, fuck's sake, who do you think?
I was going to say Gabriel.
No.
Yeah, but Zinchenko does it.
Yeah,
it's
Zinchenko, bruv, Zinchenko.
But Gabriel does it.
Does he, yeah? I see him do it, but
Gabriel was the first one to do it in the North London derby. But
Zinchenko
few minutes of the game, he was
over there. For me, Zinchenko come over straight away. I think it was before the game even started. Like even in the warm-up, he came to our side and was like, come on. Every time I see him, it seems like he's one that really cheers up the crowd. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because I feel like there's so many leaders within this Arsenal side. I'm gonna go to the video that's been going viral with Granit Xhaka. I'll be honest, I didn't see this when I was at the ground, but that video of him, when they're in a circle before kickoff, doing the pre-match warm-up, they're all stretching. He is there holding every player in a sense of he's holding the room with dictating of what to do, I'm assuming he's saying what to expect, what to do in what scenario, what you've learned throughout the week with the manager. He's there just having everyone gripped and focused. And I don't want to say it surprised me to see, because of course he's a leader, but everyone was there. Martin Odegaard was there. He is the captain for Arsenal, but it's clear that, Xhaka has such a big role in this Arsenal side. And I think that was mentioned as well last season when he was out for a bit, that, we do miss him. But these are little things that it was lovely to see going viral. It really was, like that in-depth talk to each player before the game started. And I just really want to bring up, that was something obviously I witnessed as well. There was a counter-attack. I spoke to you about this off camera. Tottenham on the break. Thomas Partey lost the ball and was out of position. He's then sprinting back. Tottenham are advancing. As he's running at his top speed, he is pointing and shouting at Ben White to go to this man. So he's running at full speed, but also shouting, dictating to his fullback, to Ben White, saying you need to be there, whilst getting back in. And Tottenham didn't score from that, they didn't even get a chance from that. But there's the things, they couldn't have covered that on the TV, but I couldn't believe it. In recovery, you're leading again. There's so much leadership qualities within this side, and these are little things I'm looking at. And I had a little moment with a fan at the game, and I said, look at Thomas Partey shouting, and he was like, he said it exact same time as me. And I was like, it's so good how together this team is, and they know what to demand from each player when they're playing. And I think I had to highlight those small things that I took from the game from being there. There was one other little thing, obviously you guys wouldn't know this, but there's a police escort to this North London derby for safety reasons. I never see the positive of going in these police escorts, because they seem like huge targets. The police then held a lot of the Arsenal fans in before they entered the stadium, making a lot of the fans late, if I'm honest. Some made it just on time for kickoff. They held them outside the ground because there was a fight apparently that broke out before kickoff. So they held the Arsenal fans literally outside the stadium for ages. We was in nice and early. But they almost missed, I think some did miss kickoff, but some of them made it just at kickoff. But that was a shame that, these...
It happens most times.
Times. Last season it was awful. There was fans got hurt in the police escort because there was bottles being thrown, and
It becomes a target, isn't it?
Yeah.
When everyone knows how you're coming and where you're coming from, regardless of a police escort, it's hard to deal with that amount of fans. What is it, 60k? Or let's say 55k or whatever it is. So yeah, it becomes a target whether you got police around or not. It is what it is, you know. They can't control the situation if it really gets out of hand.
Exactly that.
So that's what tends to happen. It's not only to Tottenham games it happens in. It happens in other games too. When things kick off before the game, they tend to hold the away fans back a bit and allow the home fans to go in, and then they'll allow the away fans that are left over to go in.
Which is sad, because then they let the home fans go in, and it's like, well, then the away fans miss the start of their team wanting to play and watch the kickoff. So just something I want to highlight before we get into kind of today's topic. I know Turkish's got some things to mention, but no one wants to see us win the league. That's it. That's the be all and end all. I know some people may lie and say no, of course. Like I even think the hate to it is like even rival fans. So say like Man United fans, you would expect them not to want to see City win it again. That's your main rival. Yeah. But for some reason, it's Arsenal that's a problem. Even when Liverpool were winning it, it's other fans. They don't want to see us win it at all. And even when people come up and ask me, they ask you all this good stuff. Arsenal playing great football, blah blah. But are you going to win the league? You know how they ask you that question. You're going to win the league, right?
They're going to catch you out, though.
Huh?
They just want to catch you out.
Yeah, that's all they want. But it's like, and I'm not saying, listen. The only reason I'm highlighting this as well is because when Liverpool win it, I wasn't that angry when they won the league that one time. And City, yes, they've been dominating for a while. Yes, of course, I want to be up there, but I wasn't angry as much as I feel like fans are towards us, that we are on top and don't want to see us win the league. I don't know what it is. Like, I get it if you're a rival thing. I get it if Tottenham, I understand that. Of course, they don't want to see their ultimate rival win the league. But everyone I speak with, it's just like, there's so much bitterness, there's so much sourness. We will go through all of the list of things that I think many fans experience when it comes to why they want Arsenal to win the league. But it's going to be a really good conversation. I want everyone to get involved in. But it just feels like every time I speak to people, they're like, "So you're going to win the league, right?" And they want you to just. They
ain't got nothing else to say. They ain't got nothing else to say. More often than not, they're thinking, these lot could win the league. So what can I really say to them? All right, I'll ask them if they're going to win the league. If they show chest, then I might come back to them in May. Yeah.
Okay, let's go straight into Gary Neville. He's the most recent, obviously, after the North London derby. He spoke about Arsenal aren't going to win the league. He said that about Leicester, but he generally doesn't believe that Arsenal will win the league. He thinks City will, and United will be second. Which then again annoys me. Like, you're an ex-United player, and it seems like you have more satisfaction in seeing your ultimate rivals win the league over yourself. Like, that's one thing. That's one thing. I find it ridiculous that he's saying
traction
that.
Though. Like I said, regarding the in the nose on Twitter, I've said the same thing. They know that you talk about Arsenal, you're going to get clicks. Same with these pundits. You talk about Arsenal, you're going to get clicks. Gary Neville, all right, whatever he said something like we're going to finish third at the end of the season. That's him. So whatever he wants to say. He wants to say, I used to rate him as a pundit, but over the years he's talked a bit too much. And when you look at the whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fiasco, I think that damaged his reputation a lot. Yeah. Ever since that, I don't think he's really returned to that good pundit that once was, in my opinion.
Interesting. I think he does speak about the game. I think he speaks about the game okay, but it's just, I think, like you said, the clicks thing is what he's reaching for. It seems like now. Arsenal is definitely the clickable topic. But we're going to quickly go into Richard Keys. Just quickly. I want to go through the list of the time scale, but I want to have to go into Richard Keys and what he said about Aaron Ramsdale and Mikel Arteta's some thought to why he was kicked in the back due to the way that Mikel Arteta is on the touchline and he riles up. I don't think he even riles up fans. This is what infuriates me the most. He helps his team by wanting to talk to them in every break that they get, wanting to help, tactically. Yes, he's animated on the touchlines, but he's not doing it to the fans. He's talking to the players. So what's Richard Keys' problem to say that then leads to Aaron Ramsdale getting kicked in the back? That again is outrageous.
He was saying if that's what the boss is doing, that kind of leads into the players, and then what Ramsdale was doing was rallying up the Tottenham crowd, and then that's the result of it. But again, it's clicks.
It has to be.
That's all it is with these men. And the thing about it is, all right, we're talking about Gary Neville, we're talking about Richard Keys. I'm going to use Romano as an example. A lot of Arsenal fans are pissed off with Romano because, he's tweeted a hell of a lot over the last 6 weeks about Mudryk Arsenal. Mm-hmm. And, he's kind of he was part of creating the wave. I know Mudryk did enough himself with Arsenal and his Instagrams and his interviews and whatnot, but in terms of the finer details of the move, Romano said a lot. In the end, it just flipped on his head in the final few hours, and a deal got done with Chelsea. Now, if you go to Romano's tweets about Arsenal over the last couple of days, there's a lot of Arsenal fans in there saying, don't talk about Arsenal. But guess what? You're still replying to his tweets.
Yeah.
You're still giving him that same traction. The better thing to do is read it, take from it what you will, whether you believe it, whether you don't believe it, and keep it moving. You don't need to comment on it all the time, because once you do comment, similar to Richard Keys, similar to Gary Neville, they're loving it. That's what they're there for. They want to create as much noise as possible. And when you talk about Arsenal, especially in a negative way, you know, these men are going to get clicks, because Gary Neville, Richard Keys, Romano, whoever it is, Ornstein, all of them, you know, when they talk about Arsenal and our online fan base in particular, and you compare it to tweets about other clubs and other deals and other comments about clubs, it doesn't get the same traction.
Yeah, I hear that. I see United View in the chat as well. They're watching. Yeah, none of you lot want to see us.
These are United View need to be in the Crystal Palace chat. You lot still got a match tomorrow before you face us on Sunday, so go focus on that one.
Let me get through the super chats. Oh, Turkish for Chester's back. Love it. Let's get through super chats. I want to go through a couple of the stages of where this whole conversation came from. Tariq Hussein says, Spurs were pundits. Second team for years because they were never a threat, clearly stressing about us, would take haters over sympathisers any day. He goes and says, AFC Max, Cecil, can we talk about the doppelganger that was wearing a Turkish face saying to you, I'm a fan, he was singing Super Mick Arteta and other songs. I've never seen him like this, how far we've come. It was, I'm telling you, people don't understand the smile and the walk Turkish had when I left the stage. It was a different man.
But I don't understand how people can't understand it. Well, surprise, surprise, your club's doing well. They're doing the right things on and off the pitch, and I'm happy. What do people think I want? Do they think I want Arsenal to not do well and be upset all the time? Nah, it's not that. Trust me, I want Arsenal to do well. I want Arsenal to do the right things on the pitch, the right things off the pitch.
Correct.
And then you'll see a different me. It's just that since I've been on YouTube, since I've been online and doing content, Arsenal haven't been where Arsenal should be. This season is the season we have been. So surprise, surprise, you see a different me.
Which is
it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that this was going to be the result of Arsenal doing well and seemingly going in the right direction. Off the pitch, still some concerns. We're, you know, just over midway through January, we still haven't made any moves. And I know Arteta after the Tottenham game talked about, you know, being sensible. And in particular with Mudryk and the fee and the wages and all that, I get that. But at the same time, Arteta's also said that we need maximise the windows, not the window, the windows, every window. And also, he also said we're thin. It's a light squad, so he's going to need reinforcement. So we've got about just under 2 weeks left to get business done. But on the pitch, which is the main thing, the main source of happiness or distress, pain, joy, it's all going well at the moment. Cannot complain one bit.
I just saw a comment pop up on the screen saying Turkish's interview gave me goosebumps. I like to hear that. I like to see that as well. Shorty FC says, it was super chat. Thank you, Shorty. Says, after everything, our rivals have put us through over the years. We need to be insufferable as possible if we do win the league. If we win the league, it'll be mad. But we're gonna get through the people that are against us so far. Rai26_nice, it says, Cecil and Turkish, big up yourself, my guys. Listen, I've just come out of the barbers, and these Man United man are just too cocky right now. We have to beat him. Again, I hear that. United fans, I hear that. They're waiting for Sunday, which is interesting.
We're waiting for Sunday. United, they don't learn either. Just relax, take it easy. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the first few months, the first season was going this way as well. Remember Rio Ferdinand, sign the thing, give him whatever he wants, and United fans, Ole's at the wheel and this and that. Well, how did that wheel go? So I had Ten Hag's come in and he's doing very well. And don't get me wrong, Ten Hag is a much more competent manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But at the same time, you know, take it easy. Take it very easy. It's 10 years this summer that United haven't won the league. I know before United fans say it's been nearly 20 years Arsenal, cool. We're top of the league at the moment. But finally, we have something to kind of show chest about. We've come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. But at the beginning of last season, they had just finished second. They was in the Europa League final. Yeah, they bought in Ronaldo, they bought in Sancho, they bought in Varane.
Yeah.
They was talking about a title.
Yeah, they're talking about they'll win the league next season.
And they had one of their worst seasons ever in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's mad.
And then already in the first 6 months of this season, it's back to being giddy and excited again. So it's what it is. At the end of the day, listen, I grew up on United-Arsenal rivalry. So if it happens to come back again, I'd love it.
Yes.
Obviously, that feistiness has been taken out of football, so it won't quite be the same. But
it'll be
it is what it is.
It'll be good. Better than seeing City Liverpool, let me tell you that for free.
Yeah.
Right, let me get into, okay, thank you for your super chats. So I think that was one from M. Guna as well, just sent in that super chat. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. Let's go into some of the reasons why I think just no one wants to see us win the league. Let's just start. One of the things was Arsenal have the youngest team, Turkish. That was a thing.
Youngest or second youngest?
No, second is Southampton when I last checked today, I believe it's
Southampton. I thought it was second. Youngest, okay.
It might have changed now, but that is what I've read. But let's go with Arsenal. That was a thing where the reason why I'm bringing it up is because most people back in the day, they go with that mindset of, you can't win anything with kids. That was that thing that used to go around with United and whatnot. And on top of that, just the pressure for such a young team to be, we're at the top. Listen, we haven't won anything yet, but if it goes all the way, it's people can't seem to have that switch in their brain to be like, oh, they're so young, they can't deal with that pressure. No way. I don't think people are realizing that, that we're doing so well with such a young team, and it also goes in line with when Ethan Nwaneri made his debut. Jason Cundy said it was all about Arteta. That was, but
clicks.
Clicks.
Simple.
Again, people criticising that. It's just someone's trying to do a good thing for the club, giving a young player his opportunity, and I think he also made that opportunity for Ethan as well, in the sense of around that time as when some young players were annoyed. I knew quite closely from the Arsenal Academy, there's some young players that were annoyed and actually left the club because they weren't getting an opportunity. But Arteta and Arsenal showing that, we will give young players a chance when we feel it's right. So that was another thing. But again, that was criticised and scrutinised. And
the saying you can't win anything with kids comes from a time where football was a lot more physical.
Yeah.
There was less noise made about tough tackles, and there was no VAR, and in that time, I think that statement was pretty true to a certain extent.
But is there not more pressure though? There was less. I think there was less pressure for youngsters then. Yes, it was more physical, but now there's more pressure for youngsters. It's less physical.
I don't think there's more pressure for youngsters.
Do you not?
No, because at the end of the day, we're top of the league by 8 points. Mm-hmm. I keep on saying to people who ask me that question, are Arsenal going to win the league? Talk to me in February. Let me see what we do in January, February 16th, after that City game. I'll understand a bit more. I'll stick my chest out a bit more about we're going to win the league, or I don't think we're going to win the league.
Yeah, fair.
But the fact of the matter is, this is a young team still learning. So on that pressure side of things, of course there's going to be pressure there. But you look around the team, Eddie's not young no more. He's young-ish. He's coming up to mid-20s. Odegaard's coming up to mid-20s. Mm-hmm. Jesus, Zinchenko, mid-20s. Xhaka, Partey touching 30, if not 30. Mm-hmm. Who else we got in there? That's
kind of around the 30 age. That's kind of it, really.
Ramsdale, he's mid-20s.
He's mid-20s, yeah.
Yeah. So
unless you're talking about El Neni and stuff, but they're not.
So we've got a mix there. We've got a mix there, and football's not the same as it was. It's not as physical. It's not as robust. So young players tend to flourish a lot more.
Okay, I hear that. No, I hear that. I hear that. I just feel like that youngster argument was ridiculous. People obviously saying, I believe it was down to pressure. I'm talking about pressure within social media and the scrutiny that fans sometimes give on players and whatnot. And there's a lot of pressure to maintain it. Coming back off the Euros as well, what Saka went through. I think youngsters, because they're getting so much opportunity, that it comes with a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of social media pressure as well because they're so accessible now. But we are overcoming that. And then another youngest is our manager. He's not the youngest in the Premier League. He's second. He's 40 years old. The youngest is Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth, 39 years old. But only 1 year difference in that. We've got some comments there.
It's a United fan with a super chat.
Oh, well, we'll get to. There's a lot of super chats flying. Big up everyone. But so Arteta being the second youngest manager. Second youngest, but experience-wise, probably one of the least experienced. Obviously, first full-time managerial job, but proving a lot of doubt was wrong. And this leads into an argument that rattles a lot of fans when I say it. Arsenal are like the blueprint when it comes to sticking by a manager, changing a culture, trusting in the process, recruitment. What else we got here? A style of play. We're playing great for the best football in the league. And at least other rival fans might be watching this and be thinking we're being quite arrogant. It's still early on, but to me, these are facts. We are playing. Well, there's opinion for me saying we're playing the best football in the league. but if you open your eyes, you'll see that.
Yeah.
The changing of the fan culture, bringing the fans closer to the players and the team, that is evident. That's completely changed here at Arsenal. The recruitment's been really good. Yes, there might be arguments of some that did slip under, but this recent couple of windows have been really good from Arsenal. And yeah, just a rebuild, trust in the process, giving manager time. That was something that when Arteta came into this role, that was never the case. The trend around clubs was if he doesn't do well in a certain amount of months, get rid of them, try something new.
There's a lot of blueprints in football, though.
Agreed.
We've shown one blueprint. It's not to say that is the blueprint to work for all, because at the end of the day, Pep Guardiola brought in the blueprint of playing out of the back from goalkeeper all the way through to attack. Well, yeah, I'd say Pep done that.
False nine.
But you look at when Emery was in charge of the squad prior to Mikel Arteta, he was trying to play out of the back. He didn't have the personnel to do that. So yes, that's the blueprint. But at the same time, you still need the personnel to do it.
But that's down to the recruitment from Arteta. That's what I'm saying. That's a blueprint in the sense he got the right recruitment. He trusted in what he wanted.
But Chelsea, for example, or Man United, for example, they can look at our blueprint and trusting in Mikel Arteta and saying, look what giving the backing and giving the patience does. But that's not to say in 2-3 years Chelsea will be top of the league, or United will be top of the league. It's not. There's no guarantee there.
Yeah, I hear that.
There's very different ways to kind of look at it, and at the end of the day, money does talk. Yes, there's blueprints to show money wins you the biggest trophies, but there's also blueprints in United and Chelsea to say money can also mess you up.
Yeah, big time.
So yeah, it depends on how you balance it all, in my opinion. Yes, we've done, the Kroenke's finally done one right thing at the club, and that's keep hold of Mikel Arteta, and it's paying dividends this season for sure.
Yep.
But at the same time, that's not to say Potter at Chelsea or Ten Hag at United is going to work out the same way in 2-3 years.
Agreed. I'll get you just. I was going to say run through some super chats, but I've got some here before we move on to the next kind of statements that we have here. So we got a super chat here from Bentner Banter. Recall Patino, loan Sambi, sign Mitoma. Patino's having a wonderous time right now.
And to be honest, Mitoma just signed for Brighton, no?
Yeah, I believe so. But I believe there was some. Listen, online ITKs, there were people saying that, Arsenal looking at him.
Yeah, but if we spent 50 million on Ben White a year and a half ago and they just signed Mitoma and we'd look to take him in January, then we're talking the money that Mudryk went for again.
Crazy money. But then Arsenal, people might be saying, well, we know you got it because you went that far.
Yeah, but has anyone seen enough? Okay.
No, of course not.
No one saw enough of Mudryk to say he's worth that course. A massive risk.
Yeah.
And we nearly took that risk. Whether it was accepted at 5 million, 10 million less, it was still a big risk, big money. Mitoma looks very good. But at the same time, it'd be a big risk as well.
He hasn't been here long. But he did look very good, especially even when we played them at Brighton. He was outrageous, electric, very fast, intense. But yeah, again, it's the risk never the same. But most signings are risks anyway. Camille says more than Mudryk, Rafinha or anyone we need a natural striker urgently. If we lose Nketiah, we have no one. We all saw him at the end of the Spurs game, relying on just him for Europa League, FA Cup, Premier League is insane.
Yeah, the games are going to build up.
Yeah,
Europa League's back in March.
Yeah.
With the FA Cup, it's a tough ask to beat City away. I'll be honest about that. That's a tough ask. Obviously, we've got them next Friday.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the squad we've got and how thin it is, I'm not putting any eggs in the FA Cup basket right now. Let's see how that one goes against Man City. I'm not putting too much emphasis on it.
I don't think there's not much pressure on it. I mean, it's Man City away. I don't think we put pressure on it, but obviously we want to show a good outfit, have a good game. You might see the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe have more involvement in a game like that. Obviously, he's returning.
If we beat Man City, the games get easier in the FA Cup. It can only get easier for Man City. They've also knocked out Chelsea, I believe. Liverpool got a replay tonight against Wolves.
Yeah. Well, the belief you have if you beat City, you then believe as a player you're going on, be like, you're not going to find
Yeah, but then if you face lesser opposition, unless you're unlucky and the next one you get is a Man United or a Liverpool or whatever it is, another Big Six side or another Premier League side, Brighton still in, I don't know who's still in it, but then you'd still have to kind of play your first team. But if you get past City and then you get a team lower down the Premier League table or in Championship and League One, then you can rotate a bit more, and then them games don't become as
much as we're saying about the cups. We're not putting too much pressure on it. I do feel like Arteta is still taking them quite seriously. He still does put quite strong outfits out when he plays in these cup competitions. And is there you know, a chance that Arsenal could do like what Liverpool did, where they just played at 11 and they hope they don't get injured all the way through. Like, obviously it's a huge risk, and someone might pick up injuries, but Liverpool, they've done it. I know it's been done. It's not how we're used to seeing things done.
It's rare.
It's a lot of games of cups, but
it's rare to keep a starting 11 fit.
I know we're going for it
games
right now.
in a row. It's rare. Well, we lost Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. It's rare. It's happening
and
right now.
And that happened outside of Arsenal, so I guess that one was very unlucky for us. But yeah, there is some positions we've got decent enough depth in. I think Tierney is a great backup for Zinchenko. Very different left back, and what Zinchenko's brought in has really opened my eyes to what a fullback can do in modern day football. Obviously, you've seen it for City over the years. You've seen it for Liverpool over the years. Now we're seeing at Arsenal. Behind Ben White, we have Tomiyasu.
Quality, like.
You know,
kind of Fabio.
Behind Vieira. Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, as long as he kind of keeps his return going. But then you talk about behind Partey, or you talk about behind Gabriel and Saliba. You know, that's where it becomes a bit sticky. So there's certain positions that we have enough depth in. There's certain positions we do not. Hence why talk to me in February about winning the league, because I still think that we can do some business in January that can help secure certain positions.
That's definitely that's a fact.
I just don't know why we keep focusing on that left side. I don't actually understand it, because
it's priority for Arsenal. I don't know why as well with you. I wanted a striker. I still want a striker. Priority is the left side. I mean, is it mainly priority? Obviously, Mudryk was going to go to left, but he could play across the three. Or do you feel like
people say that though. In modern day football, modern day fans, people love to say that. Yeah, he can play across the front three, or he can play in these positions. But the reality is, the guy, Mudryk, he's played 30 to 50 games, I think.
Yeah.
The vast majority, if not all of them, have been from the left. Maybe he's floated into other positions throughout a game and so on. I get that, but at the same time, you know, that doesn't necessarily ring true that someone can play across all three positions.
It has to be that though, Turkish, because why would you, as a man, unless, which we mentioned before off camera, is unless Emil Smith-Rowe is going to play a Xhaka role, because you're not going to stackpile three top quality players on that left position. It doesn't make sense when there's no cover for Saka. I don't know why we're targeting that left side. I think Martinelli is good enough. I know some people may disagree and say might want more for Martinelli, but for me, he is good enough. And if there is one cover there, that's fine. That'd have been Emil Smith-Rowe. That's why we're not looking at the other side. But it seems like, I don't know, Arteta is so confident that right side.
What foot was Mudryk, left or right?
I had that written down somewhere.
Maybe someone in the chat can tell us.
Let us know.
Was Mudryk left or right? Because obviously today, I say it's broken.
But listen, I'm not into much, but I'm both-footed, right? But I'm mainly right-footed. Let me just say that. But I will play on either side, because you can.
No, but the reason I ask is because you're right-footed. So if you're put on the left side, you're going to tend to cut in
and shoot. Right.
So with Mudryk, everyone's saying, well, look, right. Majority are saying right, but there's a fair few lefts in there. So this kind of tells you how much people know about Mudryk too. It's all mad. And then we got a couple two-footed answers in there.
He's right-footed. It says he's often cuts inside and shoot on his stronger foot. Uses pace break.
Okay, so
he's right-footed.
That's Martinelli's profile as well. Whereas today we were linked to Moussa Diaby. Yeah. That's been on Sky Sports.
Yep.
Diaby's a left foot. Wait. I can't remember. In the summer, I looked at his profile. I think Diaby's a left-footed left winger, because I looked at him and Oyarzabal as well, and they were both left-footed left wingers. Now, if you was to bring someone like that in, that's a completely different option to Martinelli and Emil Smith-Rowe, because Martinelli and Emil Smith-Rowe are both left-sided forwards that will cut in onto their favoured foot. Whereas if you're bringing a left winger with a left peg, they're going to give you something different from that side.
Funny enough, though. Martinelli, Martinelli, you say he's strongest on his right foot, and he cut. I do see him cut in, but he is one of those players that will drive to the byline and drive it across, probably with his left foot.
But he tends to favour cutting to his right.
Yeah, to shoot. But I do see him get to the byline and pass it across.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's confident enough on his weaker foot, which most players should be confident enough on both feet.
Yeah, in this day and age,
there's not many Cazorlas out there in terms of you can't tell what foot the guy is. You get what I'm saying?
Those are the days, bro. Those are the days. Yeah.
Those were not the days, though.
No, yeah, but I'll talk about the player.
But yeah, the player was quality. Yeah, the player was quality.
Those were not the days. I know.
Those were not the days.
Now it is pure smiling right now. For now, AFC Max back with super chat says, jokes, it's all love. I know how much you love the club. Oh, it's all love, Turkish. I know how much you love the club and how much you want them to do well. Cecil, are you going to touch on Simon, Jordan and Jim White's comments? Haven't seen
Jim White? Didn't Jim White blame Ramsdale? Weren't they blaming Ramsdale as well?
No way were they.
I think so. I read something that they was. I know Richard Keys definitely said
I listened to
it trickles
Richard Keys
down
one.
from Mikel Arteta to the players. I think Jim White and them. But again,
I saw Jim White on Saturday, and he was doing up, smiling, waving at us, and me and Robbie just.
Oh, at the boxing.
Yeah.
He
was commentating on it. He was at the KSI thing, and he was trying to do up, waving and smiling. But I don't really like to comment too much on TalkSport people. But I don't know what he said either, so it'd be interesting to hear what he said, guys. But if it's anything to do with it's Ramsdale or Mikel Arteta's fault, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Because if their argument is that Ramsdale plays up to it, that's then cool. I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't incite violence that you should be able to allow a fan's allowed to kick a player. Like, if you give it as much as you can take it, but no one puts violence. Ramsdale doesn't go into the crowd and punch players or kick players or throw things, players at fans. Like, he doesn't do that. So it's never necessary for a fan to kick a player ever. That's your workplace. Like, that does not happen.
Yeah.
Apart from Eric Cantona, does not happen. Yeah. No one can say that. No, honestly, that will infuriate me if Jim White and Simon Jordan are saying it. You know, it's partly to do with his shithousery that Ramsdale does. That's I don't think he was even doing much at the game. I didn't even see what he might have thrown a 2-0 up or maybe a little shake, but.
You see how I'm in this football YouTube world, content creating world,
cool.
and I barely know what these men are saying because I just don't want to know what these men are saying.
Yeah.
I just stay away from it.
Yeah, nor do
because
I.
They ain't got nothing good to say for me to learn anything off, or for me to take, and use elsewhere or quote elsewhere. These men are just dinosaurs trying to stay relevant.
I hear that. Big man scared of spiders with profile picture of Turkish on says, Turk, has Arteta changed your mindset on how you assess progress, seeing the good beyond the results? What if he has another blip? Will you be patient?
Listen, the thing about it, Mikel Arteta was never my primary target or enemy of frustration. It all stemmed from the Kroenkes and how we've been run over more than a decade. And like I said before, when Van Persie got sold to United, enough was enough. I hated United. Well, I hate United. Hated United even more years back. And I loved Van Persie. And the fact he went there and then he brought out a letter saying why he went there, the figures he was shown, and he wanted to win stuff, that hurt. I'm not going to lie, it hurt. So after that, I was very pessimistic with what Arsenal were doing. I was very downbeat about Arsenal's fortunes. So even when Mikel came in, I just thought to myself, what's this board doing, bringing someone so inexperienced into a mess like this? And I think people can understand that. If you take a step back, people can understand why I think like that. Because any business that brings in someone inexperienced, if it's a mess, a lot of people would probably look sideways and say, is this really the guy or the woman for the job? It's hard to really tell considering there's no backstory to it all. All right, Pep talked him up highly, Wenger talked him up highly, but talk is one thing, actions are another. But over time, yes, Arteta's dead. We just talked about being the blueprint in that sense.
Yep.
So yes, of course, even last season, for example, Cecil, there was times I was praising Mikel. There was times I was backing what he was doing.
I was interviewing you
on Big Six. Tobe said to me, Arteta or Conte, and I said, would you swap managers now? I said no. But everyone that kind of gets onto my back about my frustrations about Mikel tends to remember the negative stuff I said about him more so than the positive stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? And every time someone said to me, Arteta in or out, people forget. I never used to say either, because that's all a gimmick now.
Yeah, you don't like that.
That is all a gimmick now.
But it was a nice super chat. I liked his question. If Arteta goes through a blip now,
what's a blip? Because we have to make at least top 4 this season. So I guess a bit might be finishing third.
Then yeah.
Okay, that's calm.
That's calm. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's the question.
Of course, it will hurt. Don't get it's not calm. It will hurt. But at the same time,
you have to justify yourself and all that.
It's at the same time. Look,
he's done a lot.
Beginning of last season, I said, at least challenge for top 4. At least being in and around the challenge come the last two, 3 game weeks of the season at least.
Yep.
Now, as the season progressed and we went into 2022 in the top 4, we had just beaten West Ham and a couple others going up to that. And then we had the January we had, and Tottenham had the January they had. We carried on winning games. Credit to Mikel for that, credit to the players for that. But then towards the end, injuries, Partey, injuries, Kieran Tierney, it kind of unraveled everything. The lack of squad depth allowed Tottenham back into the conversation, and then they took over and they got top 4 come the last couple of weeks. I'm an Arsenal fan. I love the club. So in that time, if you talk to me, obviously I'm on YouTube and I'm asked every single day about Arsenal. I'm not going to be happy. But then if I take 2 steps back and then a few weeks later and I think to myself, well, at the beginning of the season, I said, you know what, challenge for top 4, be in and around the conversation come the last 2, 3, 4 game weeks. And cool, I'll be happy with the progress. If I compare that to what happened, like for like. So I'm like, all right, cool. Same with this season. Going into the season, I predicted 3rd, 4th. Well, I said Champions League football.
Okay.
That has to be the target 3 years into the project.
Fair.
Yeah. We're top of the league now. If we come to the last 2, 3 game weeks and we're top of the league, yeah, and then we finish 2nd or 3rd, I'm going to be upset. But I've also learned off of last year and seasons gone by to not be so reactionary when I am upset, because at the same time I got to remember my expectations and where I thought we would be at the beginning of the season.
This is growth.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
this is self-growth.
Because I haven't always been on camera though.
I hear it.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's not like people used to hang on every word I used to say.
Yeah.
You think it? Do you know how many fans? Do you know how many fans just say things after games that they don't necessarily believe, or they regret the next day, but because they're not on camera, it doesn't get taken on Twitter and made viral. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. What would annoy me though, and would really frustrate me, is if we don't do business in January and then this blip happens. I think you can give context to a situation. So from what happened last season, we have to do business in this January window. It's proven that was one of the main downfalls of last season. I feel like that's where, I don't think people will completely turn. I don't think anyone's going to completely be screaming for Arteta's head. I will be very disappointed as a fan if we don't do business and we then fall. Even if we fall to 3rd, I'll be annoyed, because it's obvious that business needs to be done. I get where we're a club that right now we have a certain way of going about things and doing business, and not destroying the wage structure and whatnot. But go get there's people in roles, Edus, this is their job. This is their job throughout the whole year. Get it done, get business done. This squad's clearly strengthening. Arteta's mentioned it. I saw the Cronkays and they said they're fully backing Mikel on what he wants. So there's no excuse. There's actually no excuse. So for me, that's where there's context to it, and I would be disappointed if it was a blip. But if we don't do business and other teams just beat us, then that is football, and we drop into 2nd, 3rd, then that's football. And again, I expect just Champions League football. That was always the target for this season. So I can't get too upset if we don't win the league. Yeah, it will hurt. Of course it will hurt, because where we are, but that was never the target. And the same way I learned that from last year. I didn't expect to be battling for 4th last season, but we were. Yes, we missed out.
Let's not forget, this ownership sucked the life out of the best manager we've had, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously, it's the manager we had predominantly during my life, Arsene Wenger. They sucked the life out of him to the point he left the way he left. So there's a balance to it all.
Yeah.
So the balance now is, listen, we can see what let me talk for myself. It is we, but I can see what Arteta's doing.
Yeah.
I appreciate what he's done over the years.
Go on.
I love where we are, the style of football, the players he's brought in, all of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the balance is, when I give credit to Mikel Arteta, I'll have a handful of fans to still say, what about Kroenke? Are you going to give them credit? Relax, take it easy.
Or they'll say you flip-flop.
Take it very easy, because they're 2 different things. I'm asking 2 different things of them. Mikel, with what he's had over the years, he's done an amazing job.
Facts.
I've just given credit to Kroenke for sticking with him during that very bad patch, or couple bad patches he had. Because yes, during those times I thought, listen, this guy is not going to live up to it for me.
Yeah.
But they get credit for that. But at the same time, when push comes to shove, I'm going to quote our manager, maximize every window, which we didn't last January.
Yep.
Outgoings, cool. You can talk about that all day long, and that goes some way in maximizing a window, but incomings are really where you maximize a window to catch up and keep up with the Man Cities, and at that time Liverpool and so on. Now, I can give Arteta credit. I can apologize for maybe my harsh words towards him over the years. 100%, I can hold my hands up. People should be able to do that. But with the Kroenkes, do you know how much they have to do to change my mind on them? And even if they now go out in the last 2 weeks and buy someone, go out in the summer and really support Mikel again, and with Champions League football, we bring in quality, experienced additions. That doesn't mean I was wrong about them for 10, 15 years. It means they've probably learned off of their mistakes, maybe find themselves in a better relationship with Arsenal. Yeah. And, you know, long may that continue if they are willing to make that change. Yeah. But so far, I don't... Okay, people will say we've spent 100+ mil in the last three of the last 4 windows or something like that. Yeah?
100+, 200+.
100+. Yeah, we haven't spent over 200 in the summer.
150 million. Oh, in the summer it's 150. Yeah, okay, cool.
Okay, on one hand you can say that's good and that's supporting. Yeah. But at the same time, my initial frustrations began through this club selling their best assets, making top 4 and never building upon that.
Yeah.
Now, it might be the pessimistic side of me in the back of my mind thinking, did these lot just want to get back to Champions League, get that money and then go back to the way they was, just getting the Champions League money and being happy with it? Or is Champions League, potentially winning the league, the next step to sustaining a top level and being that big club and top club again?
Which we have to wait and see.
Attracting the best talent in the world if possible. And I ain't asking for Mbappe's and Bellingham's. What I'm asking for is consistently improving the side, adding competition, adding young talent, adding experienced talent, keeping the right balance. So, yeah, I just think that Mikel, all the credit in the world. Even Edu over the years, I give him credit. I look at some things he's done and the lack of transfer fees and stuff like that for the players going out, and I have my question marks about him, but I can see the good he's done as well. Same with Kroenke. I can see the good they've done
recently.
Keeping Arteta, it's the only thing they've done good in their whole ownership. Only thing. I challenge people to find the next.
Not the investment in during the COVID and when every club didn't have financial, money to play with. They were the top spenders. I feel like they let Arsenal rot so much that they was in a position where they had to do that. Okay.
At the end of the day, it's their business, their asset, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
So we from 2018, we've been a loss-making club, financially over the years. Right. They brought us into that period. So I feel like, in a sense, they backed themselves into the corner and they had to do that.
That's what they told me. They said since 2018 now it was difficult before that time. But
so COVID, I know, but don't forget, during COVID, Kroenke made profit. Let's not forget that.
No, I didn't know.
I'm not saying off Arsenal.
I know he is making
as a businessman, he's got many businesses. During COVID, Kroenke made profit. So it's not like,
I hear that.
He was making a loss, but he was still investing. He was still, a rich guy making more money.
Yeah, he's
and he had a depreciating asset in Arsenal, which I'm sure they see us just as an asset, or Stan anyway. Josh comes across different.
Yeah,
and they spent money. At the end of the day, they spent money without Champions League football, and we seem to. Well, I'm still gonna say seem. It's only 18 games, but seem to be headed back into Champions League, and that money that comes in with Champions League. Massive source of income.
Huge. That's why I say invest.
With that and the reset wage structure, we are in such a good position moving forward into next season. I'm trying not to think about next season too much because we've got a job to do this season. And I don't even like that Vinay, for example, is talking about next season already, or the next rumour that's come out of the in the no transfer mill is Declan Rice in the summer. With all due respect, fuck summer. Let's focus on now. We've got 2 weeks left of January. We've got 5 months left of the season. We're top of the league by 8 points. We can do something special. So I don't want to hear about summer and next season right now. I want to hear about here and now and May.
Yeah,
and then we focus on summer and see where we're at.
Yeah, I love blunt Turkish, by the way, people. I don't know if you can tell. He just says, like, even when we beat Tottenham and he's so happy, he's still blunt. He said, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
Bro, football's just about hoping and believing. And right now with Arsenal, I'm believing. I've said it before.
I hear it.
And I've got hope there that we can achieve something special.
And long may it continue. Guys, big up everyone, by the way, in the chat. Big up everyone. You sent a million super chats. I've been screenshotting them, so sorry if you've been seeing me looking down at times. I've been screenshotting them all so they don't disappear. So I will run through them. And I'm just gonna, before I go to the super chats, I just want to run through some of the notes I wrote down about, people that, like I said, people don't want to see us win the league. These were some of the things that are flying up. So chill out, it's only pre-season. In pre-season, I got a bit carried away. I actually think I held it down pretty well. What we saw in that America-USA tour was unbelievable from the team. But again, in the back up, I could hear people were saying online, chill out, it's only pre-season, when we beat Chelsea 4-0. It's pre-season, like no one cares. So, cool. I had to calm myself down, but I could see like this is mad what we're doing. The team was on smoke, but then that was what people were saying. I spoke about Ethan Nwaneri, that happened. Man City are so good, they let their players go to other clubs. So obviously when we signed Jesus and Zinchenko, they obviously Sterling went to Chelsea. People, I don't know if people I spoke with assumed that City will still be up there. They're so confident, you know, they're getting Haaland. That was a missing piece. They're going to win the Champions League. That is why, that's what they're missing, a natural goal scorer. And they're so good that they're giving off second string players to rival clubs. Mm-hmm. See how that's turned out so far. We didn't get cover in the midfield the last closing days. Douglas Luiz, I don't know if you guys remember, we was in looking for a cover in midfield.
Yeah.
Never happened. I'll be honest, I actually wanted that. I wanted him. And I thought that might have affected us, but we saw how the season started really well, on fire still. People didn't enjoy that. Emile Smith-Rowe being injured, a big worry for us as fans. A lot of the other fans that are watching Arsenal, wait till you get a big injury. That's what everyone kept saying. Emile Smith-Rowe has been injured for a long time. Jesus is currently out. Right now, we're overcoming that. I watched the North London derby and the football we played, honestly, there's a clip of me on the watch along saying, we're so good. And I couldn't help but say it. But even at Tottenham, yeah, honestly, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was unbelievable. But anyway, it's still got to continue for the rest of the season. But at that time, we're still doing fine with big injuries on the side. You haven't played anyone big, massive one. All the fans, you haven't played anyone big, chill out. I'm going to run through the fixtures in October quickly, because this was a period that I deemed as the big clubs or big teams. So in October, we played Spurs, we beat them. Liverpool, we beat them. I know Leeds, but Leeds away, listen, we won, but that was
showed something.
It showed a lot. Yeah, that was a tough game as well. And amongst all of this,
that was our toughest game all season.
I didn't want to say there's that one.
Easily. That's the only game this season where I'd probably say that Leeds probably deserved something out of it.
Yeah. They put us to test. Them, and I'm going to be honest, Newcastle didn't deserve anything out of it, but what they came with to Arsenal, I was surprised at how well they were resolute at the back. But Leeds, yeah, I think you're right. They deserve something out of that game. Fair. Shit, I'm really trying to think any other game that.
I don't think so.
Even a Southampton draw, I just think it was just
we should have got the job done against Southampton.
So that's why I've included Leeds. That was in October, and amongst all of that, we were playing Europa League games. Yeah, and then on the 6th we played Chelsea, who we beat as well. So all that, you haven't played anyone big, just eradicated, and that annoyed a lot of other fans as well. The World Cup in between, everyone telling me, Cecil, you're not going to win a league. Chill out. We've never seen a World Cup in the middle of this. That will be. It's different. You won't be able to sustain this run of form after the World Cup. We're here. Still a bit of time to go, but I'm just making it very clear. If you have big injury, you're screwed. I spoke about that already. Arteta is a blueprint. I spoke about that already. That rattled a lot of people, but a clear process, time with a manager, signings, the culture change, fans getting behind the team and whatnot, a rebuild. It's working. Obviously, like Turkish mentioned, there is many other blueprints. He's not the official answer, because people can do what Arteta's doing. It may not work, but what I see so far, and I kind of go to time with a manager, has worked in a period where people were sacking managers left, right and centre. Really good. And then, we're playing the best football undoubtedly in the league. That annoys people when I say it, but it's the truth. And then...
Well, Pep said it, so if you don't listen to Cecil, listen to Pep.
Thank you very much. The way other fans ask you can win. Okay, yeah, I've already mentioned that. And the lastly, the FA charges, which doesn't really matter, it doesn't really account to nothing, but we're being charged for absolute bollocks, really, if I'm honest. Players always surround the ref. I saw it in many games. It happened on the weekend. So I'm waiting for the charges from the FA, but we'll see. But yeah, those are all the kind of the points I wanted to talk about, and we can go into them in depth, but we haven't got long left. That's why I'm rushing through, as people can probably notice. But many super chats and comments I want to leave the show by doing.
I just want to call out, Rai says, and Rai's always in the chat as well, so big up Rai, but he says Turkish might be right, but the energy you put out is what you get back. That is such a like, it's one of those statements that I feel like comes from the system. And I don't mean football or sports. I mean just the system of the world.
Sorry,
like, look how the world is. Look how the world is. The world is a fucked place.
I know,
fucked place.
I know, bro.
Does that mean that if we all start thinking life's rosy and the world is a beautiful place and it's gonna change? Not necessarily, because the world is run by the rich and greedy. Same way clubs are run by the rich and greedy, and the rich and greedy tend to look out for themselves. So it's all good and well saying, it's the energy you put out, you get back. No, it's actually not. Sometimes you've got to, forget about how the world is, or forget about how, and believe in what you believe in. I believe in the good. So I'm the opposite side. I live in a
very positive energy, whatever way, and just put it into the universe and hope it comes back. It can be naive at times, 100%. But
it might work. It might work for you as an individual, but in the bigger picture for me, okay, as an individual, I get that. Maybe the energy thing works as an individual, but when you're dealing with the rich and greedy,
it's still completely different.
It's completely different. They're out for themselves, and they're out for their pockets, and they're out for their own families, and so on.
Is it the energy you put out? Maybe on. No, I don't agree with this statement, by the way. I'm just saying, like, he might be seeing from what he sees online, because I'm with you a lot. The energy you don't put that energy. I don't know what this big perception of Turkish is. Some big, greedy, angry animal monster who's just so negative. I never get that. I'm with you a lot of the time though, but I think like sometimes, I don't know, is the old rhetoric, people just sticking to, old mentality? Because I feel like you've changed. Like I said, I interviewed most of the season, last season, and you were giving a lot of people credit. A lot of people have changed. Like you've changed a lot in your opinions, and you're always one to give credit. Shaka, you've been doing it. You've been doing it on your fan cams, in player ratings. So I don't know, maybe it's just the old Turkish.
And he also adds, believe it or not, it will change. We haven't tried yet, have we? So he's probably talking about a football sense. He must be talking about football sense, because look at the governments, not just in the UK, US, and across many countries in the world. They're out for themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
Corruption at its finest.
That is a fact.
It's a system built to eat off of the working class, middle class, whatever you call it. It's a system built off that. They would love you to believe that you think well, you wake up, you have your shower, your bath, you smile, you come out skipping and whistling, that your life's gonna get better. They'd love nothing more than the majority to be like that.
Yeah, robots.
But to be honest, the majority are like that actually. That's why the world is the way it is.
Yeah.
But it's the world. It's just not like that. You have to call out bullshit. You have to call that bullshit. Okay. And sometimes I might be wrong when it comes to bullshit around the club over the years. I get that.
Yeah, of course.
I get that. But in the big scheme of things, in my opinion,
do you feel like you've been right?
With the Kroenkes, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
And the proof's in the pudding in regards to the systems in place.
Has it changed? The systems, has it changed?
In governments and so on.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. Sorry, let me go to the super chats and run through them, because there's so many. You might have to read the ones that are on the screen now, but here's some screenshots I had from earlier. Shref says, listen, Journo's job is to report and indirectly influence. #no ethics. Mudryk joined Chelsea after twerking for Arsenal. Never thought he would join Chelsea, being Ukrainian. Yeah, that's another factor to it. For me, right, and I've mentioned this off camera, I was hurt by João Felix going to Chelsea. I know it was crazy money, but it hurt me. I like João Felix. I never spoke about it online, because, I never spoke about the transfer that was linked to him, because I think I did it once with Gunnar Lee, and I said, I don't want to talk about it because I like João Felix. I don't want to be hurt. So that's why I left it. Mudryk. So if you think João Felix hurt me, imagine what Mudryk did to me. That actually, it stung me really bad. I wanted to see him here.
Saturday night I done a stream, and it felt.
Did you were you motive in it, or was it just like?
Listen, we're top of the league, so there's only it wasn't the old Turkish, let's say,
okay,
but it was quite negative in comparison to the Turkish, you've been seeing this season. Because at that time I was just gutted, thinking Mikel Arteta wants this guy. I haven't seen him go for a forward like this since he's been here. We've lost that from 5 to 10 million. But then you beat Tottenham, and then I have some time to think, and I think, you know what, fuck it. Let's see what we do off the back of it.
Okay.
Because we've turned to plan Bs in the past. We went for Lisandro, we got Zinchenko.
And it worked out better.
We went for Vlahovic, and we got Jesus. I put that in quotes because I don't actually believe we did, because where did that 70 million go last January? Like, I'll potentially ask, where did the 70 million towards Mudryk go this January if we don't spend it? It's not only a forward we need. Don't ever get it twisted. We need other positions too. So if we can't find another forward this January, it doesn't mean don't go and add depth into Partey or Xhaka's position.
Yeah. There was another player that we went in for and we lost out, but we had a better outcome. It's just slipped my mind. Brooke Solomon with a super chat says, last time you crumbled with 3 shot on target. This time there's no stopping.
That's the one I laughed at earlier.
Oh, yeah, there's no stopping. Rashford will be the reason you will bottle the league. But
he might think Rashford's Maradona all of a sudden or something.
I'm a fan of Rashford, but you look, calm down. You Brooke, chill out, bruv. Like, do you know what? Just Sunday. I like that we can say, like, I'm now confident to be like, just wait till Sunday.
It's just popped up as well. The guy's been charged that kicked Ramsdale.
He's been charged?
Yeah.
Can you just click on it? Just read it while I'm reading through the super chat. Just see, like, is it a lifetime ban? Is he getting?
A 35-year-old man has been charged with assaulting Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale after Sunday's North London derby at Tottenham. A Metropolitan Police statement said a man has been charged with assaulting an Arsenal player after a match at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday, January 15th. Joe Watts, 35, of Hackney, was charged on Tuesday, January 17th with assault by beating, going onto an area adjacent to playing area and throwing a missile onto a football playing area. Both contrary to the Football Offences Act 1991. He is due to appear at Highbury Magistrates Court on Friday, 17th of February. The Mets football investigations team were assisted in their inquiries by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
So is that so the guys? So they give his full name on there as well?
Yeah.
Jeez, bloody hell. Okay, fair. That's
why when it came there, I was like, should I say his name and all that? But fuck it, it's on Sky, innit? Who gives a shit?
So that was a thing. That was another thing as well. I wanted to just back up when I don't know Simon Jordan and Jim White. Yeah, I don't know what they said, but we know what Richard Keys said. For I don't know if you guys have seen the footage that Sky released today of the fan. You can check it out. It's online now. How far he travelled down to make that kick is outrageous because he runs back to his seat. So
someone said that dude was 35. He looked 17. He looked like the guy from In-Betweeners, the main guy.
He did that. That I got sent that by everyone. That meme. But yeah, just it's outrageous how far he travelled down. Just to, I don't know if he did it just to do that, but for Ramsdale to be winding up the crowd, for you to come that far down to try and assault a player is you can't. There's no grounds that it's okay to do that. Anyway, Rizwan, I want to stay on this live because we're going to stay on for a little bit longer. Rizwan Khan says, if we win the league, rival fans will need therapy. Now, every time, like Matisse or Grizz, or when I speak to them, they're like, oh, if you don't win, Grizz, definitely Matisse, I'm leaving the country. Stay where you are.
They better have internet to do Big Six, that's all I'm saying. Don't
go anywhere. If we win, I don't want anyone leaving the country. I don't want other fans leaving the country. Like, just listen, just embrace it. Like, don't obviously just think we can block people, ignore it. But if we win the league, let us just have our moment. Don't try and run away, because I've got plenty of people I want to text and see, sit down with, have a conversation. So yeah, if we win the league, we need therapy. I've read that. Rizwan Khan with another super chat says, all money does is quantify a good or bad decision. That's a good way to look at it. Well, you're saying that, actually no, because some of our signings were quite big fees, but we saved on some players here at Arsenal, some good business. Ramsdale at first seemed like a lot of money, Babbies, but I think now is a steal. I think Ben White is now a steal for 50 million. If you put all these people back in the market, how much would they be worth? I know there's inflation that kind of adds to that, but realistically at that time, if we had the season they've been having so far, they're all added value to their initial price tag.
Somewhat, yeah.
So, challenge me. Who
no, I just don't think about their value because they're doing their stuff for Arsenal. I'm not looking to get rid of them, but at the same time, 50 million and 30 million, that's decent enough fees. I think we're getting what we spent.
And it's doing well. Idris Kai, with a super chat says, I stopped taking United fans seriously a long time ago. Let them keep talking. When we humble them on Sunday, they will go into hiding. Oh, that game is going to be, there's a lot riding on it. Mohammed with a super chat also says, if we can keep on the top of the table while Jesus is gone, imagine where we're going to be when he gets back. We fly to the top.
Well, Arteta's recent comments about Jesus doesn't bode well.
What did he mention?
When he talks about, I think he said something about it's longer than we thought, but we hope to have him for the final months. Remember, a lot of people are saying end of February. That's not happening. It's looking like April, May, judging from what Arteta said.
And that's a worry. Which means we have
to forget about him. There's no point in even thinking about Jesus coming back now because we've got a lot of football to play from now until April. But it's the truth, though.
I know it is.
It's the truth.
We need a striker. So why are we focusing on the left, bruv?
Oh, you need to call your guy and speak to him and let me know what he says, Carl.
I actually messaged him.
Go find him at another restaurant or something.
I messaged him at the Madrid thing. We do speak, to be fair, but he didn't reply on that sense. But I think it was just a shock. Chelsea just went in with more money. We know the facts, really. It's just we lost out to it. But I never speak to him outside on when we speak away from here. But that one hurt me. But listen, we're trusting them for now. There's still time.
Listen, like I said, the next few windows are massive for the Cronkies.
The next few weeks are massive, not just for Cronkies, for the club to maintain where we are. Young Gunner says, a winger that I admired for a couple of years is Leon Bailey. Took a bit to adjust to the Prem, but in my opinion, his quality thoughts was always linked to him many years. Jamaican, I like him. I don't think he's at the level.
Stock has fallen off since coming though. That's the thing.
I don't think his level is the level that we're playing at right now, and that's a fellow Jamaican, and I like him as well. I just don't think he's the. I don't think he's the player that Arsenal want. I like him, but I don't think he's the player that Arsenal. I don't think he's the player that Arsenal needs either. It's got qualities, but I think it's still not consistent enough. And the intensity that this team plays at, I don't think he can match. A big up Leon Bailey. I don't think it's sound up.
No. Before he signed for, he signed for Villa, innit?
Villa, yeah.
Before he signed for Villa, he was a player of interest to me. Like, he was a good young winger coming up. But like I said, his stock has gone down since signing. But obviously that's through injuries as well.
From Super Chat before. Okay, Giuseppe Jones says, thoughts on Japan and South Korea at World Cup from Super Chat before World Cup. I mean, I won't want to discuss that too much because it's away from the show, but you come back with a Super Chat. Giuseppe's a big up saying Jamal Musiala, competition for Saka. They don't play the same position, does he? I know he plays further up the field. Musiala, I love him though. It sounds mad, but I actually think, it's going to sound crazy, I think he's better than Jude Bellingham, only by a little bit. Only because every time I watch him, and he's smaller than Jude, but he just dictates. But I think I think Jude plays a bit further back. Jamal Musiala is more further up. I love him as a player, but he wouldn't be competition for Saka because they play different positions. But he is world class in my opinion. I think he's a great player, but he's not coming to Arsenal. I don't think I don't know what his contract is. I think I've checked this recently. I think it's like 2025, so not an option. But I like that us as fans are looking at, I think we should be looking at players. It's so annoying to because I was like, I want to be looking at players of that caliber in the sense of how big they are globally, but we haven't been going about that here at Arsenal, and it's working. We've been going for lesser players, so I really contradict myself and fight with: do you want the big name, or do you want to just trust your club and just see what you're doing right now?
There's a balance to it, man. You need to have a balance to it. Otherwise you end up like Liverpool have,
or Chelsea
over the years. Yeah. Chelsea, it's a bit different though. They've still brought in like the big names over the years.
That's what I said, big names, Bamiyang, Sterling's.
But nowadays you get big young players too.
Yeah.
Like look at Haaland went City. He's pretty much shutting it down so far this season. I know he hasn't scored in a couple of games. Mbappe is another one. Bellingham, Musiala, Pedri. They're top players. They're very young. Nowadays football the top players tend to be in the younger bracket.
Definitely.
Obviously, there's top experience. But I mean, someone mentioned Gnabry. I'd love Gnabry too, 100%. But there's a lot of top young players that I think Arsenal are moving into that bracket where we can at least go for them, and they might be interested.
Yeah, because
obviously it depends on who else is going for them and what they can offer in comparison to us, and how much emphasis these other players put on money rather than maybe career or development. It's all a balance. So if we're fighting to the end of the season for the league title, if we win the league title, we're definitely in for players like this. Bellingham, for example, we can do players like that. And if we go into the last few weeks of the season and we lose out on the Premier League title, we can still go in for players like that because we're in a place where we're challenging.
Yeah, and not just that. A young player looks at Arsenal and says, what Arteta's doing, they say, oh, he's got a young team. I'm going to play. I'm going to get minutes. He believes in the young process. They're playing beautiful football. That is something that is massive to a player. Like the football they're playing, it makes you want to be involved. You hate being at a club where, I mean, we'll look at Tottenham. They're playing only in the second half. Who wants to be in a team that does that? For the first half, you get battered, or you sit there and you have to be. I mean, obviously, not being instructed to do that, but you don't want to be in a side like that. You want to be in a side that's thriving, that's playing quick football, sexy football, shall we say? So as a young player, you'd want to see that and buy into it. And he's building superstars. I'll be completely honest. Saka's going to be, by the end of his career, depending on what he wins as well, or the time at Arsenal, he might be here forever. He's going to be a superstar. I think Martinelli as well, these young stars that are building a name for themselves. They're getting themselves into their national sides through getting the gameplay and playing in a team that's currently top of the Premier League. So you look at all these things when you're going to a team, or your agent will. Marcus Crouch with a super chat says, what about signing Kasper Dolberg? I'm going to say if it was a bait. No, I don't know who that is.
Kasper who?
Dolberg? I haven't seen him.
I've heard him mentioned. I don't know who he is though, or even what position he plays.
I haven't seen that. But Camille Ahmed says with a super chat, why not recall Pepe for temporary cover.
We have to move on from that guy. This is coming from someone that backed him for a little while still. But we got
talk about it. He backed him for a little while. He was happy when he was signed, didn't it? But
I was 100% happy when he signed, but after a year and a half, he's still not producing the goods that we need, and Mikel Arteta doesn't see him as part of what he was building. And you see where we are at now with what Mikel Arteta has been building.
Yeah.
Forget about my man.
If you're going to go call anyone back, you're going to recall Balogun, in my opinion. Doing really well within the French league. I don't want to see anyone recalled, if I'm completely honest. I think Balogun still needs time to develop. But if you're going to call anyone back, it will be him for cover, because he's absolutely killing it over there in the Ligue 1. But yeah, or if not, just do the business, Arsenal, and go sign someone. Ishmael Rivalry, says the table isn't linear. Just because we're first right now doesn't mean we should be the best the second part of the season and never drop form. Yeah, no one's saying. We know there's still a lot of games left. We'll come up to the 19th game. I know I've been shameless in the past, but I know there's still time left. Things change. Football. Listen, I've been in the game for my whole life, and I've been speaking about and working in football my whole life. I understand there's still time left. We're not saying that things can change in the second part of the season. But I'm always with the mindset of enjoy where you are, enjoy the moment. Yes, you can look like a clown at times, but for me, I don't care. For me, I enjoy what I'm seeing and what it is right now. Dave Jordan, the final test for Turkish, changing his mind on Eddie with a super chat.
Yeah, we'll see at the end of the season. I mean, he's definitely done well so far. I feel like against Tottenham, he should have scored.
You did say that this morning.
But other than that, he had a good game.
Okay, yeah.
He was involved. He held up the ball well. He linked up play well. But, you know.
I challenged him on that, people, just so you know. He did say, Turkish came in today and said about Eddie. I said, bro, he had a good game. And Turkish said what you just said there. He should have scored his chances. I think
it didn't matter because we won.
Yeah.
But there's going to be games.
I did ask you that before, actually.
We're going to look back at it and hope that he did finish his chances, because that is the decisive factor between winning, drawing or losing.
See, my thing was, just after Tottenham, if he didn't score, to be fair, but we won. If he did score, I said, just let him, he's done everything he can. But he didn't score, but even still we won the game, and we still got United. There's still big games this month. But I think he's doing nothing wrong right now. I don't see anyone's argument right now against Eddie that can really, really stand, personally. O'Malley says, Arteta has not only got us competing, but has balanced, this is a super chat, thank you very much, but has balanced the books, lowered the average age, rebuilt the academy, and has infused the fans. He understood what Arsenal means. Hope Kroenke's back him.
Yep, so do I.
Yep. Funk Mastered, with a super chat, thank you, says, we sent a strong message that we won't be held to ransom. We just need a rotation player for this window to get us through the summer, Trossard, etc. That's all the super chats I screenshotted. There was quite a lot in there, but thank you everyone again that's got involved. I don't know if I've missed any. If I have missed any, I'm so sorry.
Well, Lorenzo said Arsenal should get, what's his name?
Oh, that's a
Kvaratskhelia.
Don't you dare ask me to say that name.
Kvaratskhelia, something like that. But I know you're talking about a Napoli winger. Listen, if there was a winger this season that I've looked at that I'd want in world football, he would be the one. He looks cold. But at the same time, Napoli, I believe they're top of the league in Serie A. And midway through the season, you're not going to get him. And if Mudryk was 100 mil, this guy's going to be around that. Well, he'll be more.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not realistic right now. And like I said, I'm not thinking about summer yet. I'm thinking about January, and I'm thinking about the rest of the season.
I like that you're doing that. Right, listen, we are coming towards the end of the show, but I do want to end it on the main topic and just ask Turkish just one last question. So the main topic is, no one wants to see us win the league, and I feel that energy everywhere I go of recent, and I'm sure many of you guys that are Arsenal fans, that you speak to other rival fans, other fans, you feel that energy. They don't want us to win the league. All I want to ask people watching, and you as well, Turkish, what do you think it is that everyone's most fearful of if we win the league? Because this is one thing that's popped to mind as you was just reading out then, was like, oh, if Arsenal win, they've got a young side, other fans might be fearful of, oh, this could continue. Like, this could be many more years of them back up there challenging. Is that might annoy them? Is there anything else? Because when Liverpool started winning, or City, they started, yes, I was annoyed that it seemed like it was like a two-horse race between them and Liverpool, but I was annoyed that Pep was there, and I felt like this is going to be many years of the same. Do you think other fans might be looking at us and thinking, oh, if they win it, of course they're going to say the fan base, that's definitely going to be one. And that is probably the main reason. And people may disagree with me, but our fan base, I understand that. But looking at football terms, do you think it's because, you know, we could be someone that, you know, wins the Premier League and then staying there for a few seasons, or do you think, do you know what, that can't really happen because I've seen what the Concaves do, are they going to reinvest? We can't really say now. Or Tottenham fans might be thinking, all these years we've been above Arsenal, and they come back this year and they go like they win, that would kill them.
I don't think people are worried about us becoming next City, because City are a different beast off the pitch. And Pep Guardiola is a legendary manager. You know, Mikel Arteta might turn into that, but a legendary manager in charge of a beast of a club financially, that's, you know, sustainable without a shadow of a doubt. I think the hate or the naysayers regarding our league title challenge and the people that are hoping we don't win it tend to be people that have a lot of friends that support Arsenal, or tend to be people that have talked a lot of shit about Arsenal over the years, and they're going to have egg on their face, or they're going to have their Arsenal friends in their ear.
Yeah, so they're protecting themselves, really.
It tends to come from there.
Yeah.
They don't want to feel shame. They don't want people to smoke them and so on. So I think it comes from there more than anything. Okay. Because Arsenal have, you know, we've been on some banter over the last 10 years. So,
don't I know it.
And a lot of opposition fans have feasted on that.
100%.
So
100%. I think that.
They know that if the time comes and we win the league, it's our turn to feast.
100%.
And that's what they're scared of.
I think that's what they worry about. And again, it goes back to our fan base as well in a sense that, I just see like Matisse not having private chats with other fans to say we need to stop. Obviously, he can't stop it individually, but need to stop this Arsenal thing. Like, I know people are fearful and they don't want to see us win the league. I just don't get the hate, because when you look at the football we're playing the best football. So that never equates to you're playing the best football.
I actually like it though.
Do you?
Yeah, man. I don't want people to like us. Fuck them. I would like people to like us.
I don't know.
I prefer, you know, that's part of football as well.
It is, but I just want sometimes to, like, other fans, I like when other fans talk about Arsenal and they give us the respect that, fair play to Mikel, an inexperienced manager. He's come in, he rid the storm, he changed the culture completely, he got the fans behind him, he's brought something to Arsenal that hasn't been seen in a while, and I like when they talk about Arsenal like that. That makes me a really proud Arsenal fan, but I guess I hear it. If they hate us as well, I guess it makes it more sweeter when it gets to the end.
Football's a humbler.
Football's a humbler, classic.
So if we win the league, there'll be a lot of humble opposition fans around the world.
A lot of loud Arsenal fans. All right, listen, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I've enjoyed this, breaking it down. But again, big up everyone that got involved, that sent super chats. Don't forget to get the merch, shop.aftv.co.uk. Come and join the family. We've got plenty on there selling. Head over to them. I'm wearing one of the jumpers now. They've got obviously special designs. It's just a standard AFTV hoodie that you can get. But big up everyone again, like I said at the beginning. We'll see you again very soon. And thank you for joining us. And may Arsenal's winning form continue. I'll see you again soon. Take care.
Love.